Hi everyone, welcome to Freehandly Made AU Crochet. My name's Nisi and you're hanging out with me here in the cozy cabin of Big Sky, Montana. Thank you for coming and thank you for being here. So I have several things to share with you guys. First, I want to say thank you to all my coffee members who have been supporting me for these last several months. And it's a very exciting time for me as we tried to shift back over to YouTube memberships. And so many of you have been supporting me this whole transition and letting me try something new. You know, and you don't really know how things are going to work unless you try something new. And you guys have been there for me every step of the way. And so I want to thank you for that. Also, I want to thank everybody else in the YouTube community, in our Yarny community, and those outside of the Yarny community. I'm getting support from people who don't even crochet. I want to say thank you because you guys have been running my channel, you've been running my videos, and we're getting really close. We're getting really close. We almost hit 2K watch hours, so we're getting there. It'd be really cool if I was able to get remonetized before 2026. But at the end of the day, if it's 2026, then it's 2026, and I'll be grateful. So it's been a hot minute since I've done a members video. And I say members video because they get to see this first. I have been so busy trying to get charity blankets done. And I finally had to cut down on my charity blanket making machine. Schedule, whatever you want to call it. And so look at the draw 13. I only did one charity blanket because I have to really concentrate on some gifts for my family. And many of you know that I have started my grandson's blanket, his log cabin blanket. This is what the squares are going to look like. This is not my pattern. This is the Comfort Log Cabin Throw. This is a free pattern on, I believe, Yarn Inspirations. You can actually get, this pattern actually is with the Autumn Log Cabin Throw. They're both very similar. They're just tightly different in the squares and how you put the squares together and what you do with the squares and how you, the number of squares that you use. And Mikey from the Crochet Crowd, he has the tutorial on his channel, and I'll link all of that information in the description below, so you can go over there, watch the tutorial. He also has the link to the pattern in the description of his tutorial videos on both. And what's really cool about his video is that he explains how they're different, and I suggest before you choose one, watch that part of the video. It's in the very beginning, so you can decide which one you want to do, because they both do have different looks and they both do have different techniques of putting the blanket together, and even the border is different. So I do suggest that if you're wanting to do this blanket. It's not hard to do, it's just it is time consuming. I will say that, because it's just, well, especially for me, because I'm making the pattern bigger than what's written, because I have a strapping grandson who's an athlete, and he is tall for his age. Anyway, so, but he's growing. He's a growing boy is my point, and I want to make sure this blanket will fit him and cover him when he's a teenager and off to college or whatever he decides to do. So, so I'm having to make more squares than what's in the pattern. So I first started making the squares individually, one by one, until each square was complete. And so I actually have 4 squares 100% completed. 4 squares 100% completed. And then I thought, man, I feel like I'm not getting anything done. I feel like this is taking me forever. I feel like I'm getting nowhere. So I like to do things, you know, my autistic brain plays tricks on me a lot. And I have time blindness a lot. And I can get hyper focused and feel like I'm chasing my tail. And I had this same problem because I made this blanket once before. I made it for my husband. And I did it the method where I did one square at a time until all the squares got done. And I remembered the frustration. I felt the frustration coming back to me like I had when I was making my husband's blanket. And although I enjoyed making the blanket for my husband because it's for my husband and I love my husband, I struggled making the blanket because of how much time it takes, and because my brain wasn't processing, yes, actually you are getting stuff done, you're fine. Because my eyes and my brain weren't agreeing with each other, I felt a lot of frustration during the journey, and I don't want to go through that again. So, and I'm sharing this with you because I am autistic and I don't do autistic videos, education videos really anymore, because I fell in love with crochet so much. And as a typical autistic, crochet is my super intense interest. And I like to talk about my interests. That's kind of it's kind of a trait that we have. And we kind of can talk about our interests until you tell us to shut up. So, so I want to share because there are other neurodivergent crafters out there, especially in the yarning community, and I think we do have a lot of things in common when it comes to certain things. And time blindness is definitely, I think, one of them. I'm also severely ADHD, and I have time blindness from that as well, and also the intense focus from that as well. And when you're feeling frustrated, for someone who's neurodivergent, such as myself, and please keep in mind, I can only speak from my experience. I can't speak for anybody else. This is coming from my world, my perception, what I experience, what I feel. Okay, so I don't know why I felt like putting that disclaimer out there, but I just want to make sure that's understood. But I find for me, having the autism and the ADHD, it kind of complicates things for me sometimes, even not just work and chores and, mundane chores and executive functioning, but it also kind of crosses over into my love for fiber arts and what I like to do for fiber arts. And I can get overwhelmed, and then I end up putting the project in timeout. And the problem with me putting a project in timeout is, unlike a typical person where they'll pick that project back up at some point, sometimes I forget that it's even there. Like, I totally forgot that I even started that. I have two projects, 2 UFOs right now downstairs that I do deeply want to finish. But I just keep having these other things getting in the way and coming up and coming up and coming up, because right now my secondary intense interest is crocheting for charities. That's where my heart is. So I'm having a hard time putting that aside and going down in the craft room, bringing those 2 blankets up and finishing them. At some point, I'm going to have to make the tough decision and do that. I'm just not ready to do that yet. However, I do want to get these blankets made for my family. I want them to have a piece of me. I'm pouring all my love into these projects for these different family members. And so it's going to kind of be like my legacy to my family. So when I pass away, they have a part of me that will remind them how much I love them, how much I loved them, how much I was thankful for them, how special they are to me. And they can wrap themselves in it, and they can feel my love when I'm gone. You know what I mean? Because we're not going to live forever. So for me, this is my way of doing that. Because I know that it's going to bring them comfort. When they're sad, they can wrap up in the blanket. When they're happy and they're celebrating, they can wrap up in the blanket. My young granddaughter, the doll blanket I made her, she can drag that around the house and have fun with it and make memories with it and know that grandma made it for her. It's just a unique way of me showing my love for people. So I wanted to make sure that I don't get frustrated while I make my grandson's blanket, because I want to put all my happiness in it. I want to put all my joy in it. when he gets this, I hope it puts a smile on his face. And he knows that even though I'm not there and I don't get to spend physical time with him and I don't get to sit in the bleachers and cheer him on and hug him and high five him or fist bump him or whatever when their team wins and even when their team loses, that we're over here in Montana and we're cheering you on, bud. We're cheering you on, bud. And we love you. And, hopefully we'll get on a plane and come to Alabama and come see y'all. But, just, I just don't know if that's going to happen and when that's going to happen. Anyway, so I wanted to try something and I said, okay, I can't remember who it was that I saw. They were making, small squares and I think they were making it for a bag. It's a channel that I have not seen in a long, long time, and I can't remember the name of the channel, but I remember her saying that she always makes her squares like an assembly line, and I remember that. And I'm talking, I saw this video. This is probably like something I watched like from 2 years ago. Like it's been a hot minute. It's been actually more than a hot minute that I distinctly remember something about that being said. And I thought, well, maybe that will work. So I did. Here they all are. I got them. And you know what? I'm going to say so far it worked, because when I got done with little square, center square number 42, and I had to put them on in the Ziploc bag, I was so proud of myself. I took a picture of all the squares sitting in my lap, and I'll include a picture right here for you guys. Anyway, I texted to him through her, and so he could see that, it's a slow process, but Grandma's getting there. We're making some progress, bud. So, and apparently he had told her, Grandma, that's a lot of squares. Yes, but it is. Grandma working hard like a sweatshop just for you, honey. Anyway, so I got them all in here, put them all in here. Eventually these squares are not going to fit in here because they're going to end up like this. And these squares aren't going to fit in a gallon Ziploc bag. Anyway, so I haven't had much time to crochet, but I started round 2 today, and so far I've got 5 done. So this is the orange is round 2, the blue is round 3. But I wanted to get another square done. So these are the 5 that I completed today. Hopefully I can get out another one this evening while I'm downloading this video and getting it published. So that's that. Okay. So that's that. So we're getting there. It's going to look really great when it's done. It kind of reminds me of Lego blocks in a way, kind of, sort of. All right. So, then I started thinking today, I'm like, man, I've got to do more than just, because during Luck of the Draw 12, I don't know if you guys remember, but I was working on my grandbaby's doll carrier and her doll blanket, which turned out to be way bigger than a doll blanket. Turned out to be more like a toddler blanket. But anyway, she loves it. Anyway, I was also working on Luck of the Draw blankets for Boggy Creek and actually they were just for Boggy Creek. No, I think, yeah, they were for Boggy Creek. Did I? No, I did not donate a Luck of the Draw 12 blanket to Watson's. Actually, both blankets that I made during Luck of the Draw 12, I'm donating to Boggy Creek. Anyway, so I'm like, I had that many things on my hook, and right now, I just got done with Little Man's crow hoodie, but I thought, I need to do more than just my grandson's blanket. So I still feel like I'm getting, because I've got 6 blankets to do, 6 for the family. I'm going to share with you, I did get some. I try to only get yarn on the blankets that I know I'm going to start right away. And so I'm going to show you that yarn. So, Rachel, she is, my grandson's guardian / second mom. and I got her favorite colors, and I'll share the pattern that I'm thinking about doing, because I think this yarn's gonna look really pretty in that pattern. But so I'll show you the colors that she chose. She chose, and I'll have to figure out how to get all these colors into one blanket, but I'll get it figured out. So she chose this is raspberry, but it comes close to I don't know, not fuchsia. Is it fuchsia? I can't remember. Anyway, she chose this color, and she chose light pink, which this is called light pink rose clair. And this is all loops and thread soft classic yarn that I got, and I got all this on sale at Michael's for a really good price. And then she's got what color is this? Why is the color not on here? That's really weird. Oh, amethyst. So amethyst, and then we got a darker pink, which is, I think this is rose. Yeah, this is rose, and then we got periwinkle. She loves periwinkle. So these are her colors that she chose. There's 5 here, but then I also went ahead and got some of this, because I'm not sure how I want to do this yet, but I thought it'd be nice to break the colors up with a neutral. So I don't know if I'm going to use the neutral or not, per se. I haven't completely made up my mind yet. The pattern I want to use is Wanda Yarn Addict's his Stitch Sampler Chevron Blanket. And I need to reach out to him and his admin team and find out, you know, is there a way I can break up the colors? Because I notice on the pattern the colors aren't broken up. You do one color in the initial round repeats, and then once that's over, then you start your new repeat with a new color, and then you end that color, and then you start the third repeat with your next color. So I need to look at that pattern a little bit more and decide what I'm going to do there. But that's what I want to do. I think that's what I want to do for this blanket, and I think I have enough yarn. I have more than just this, you guys. I just picked out one of each color so you can see. I have a box of all these colors. So that's going to be the colors of her blanket. And then my youngest daughter, and my oldest daughter, they're going to get the same blanket. I asked my oldest, do you want your blanket to be exactly the same as your little sissy, so you guys can kind of have matching blankets? And she said she would love that. So, and I said, let me show you the colors first, because you and your sister kind of sometimes have a different taste in colors. So I sent her a picture, and I tied this too tight. Give me one moment. All right, so my youngest daughter, she really likes beachy, muted, natural kind of colors. And she had chosen this yarn, which was a 3-weight at Hobby Lobby. And it had all these pretty colors in it. And that yarn was just, I didn't mind making her a blanket out of thin yarn, but she kind of wanted a cozier blanket, even though she lives in Florida. But she really liked those colors. So I took that yarn and I matched it to I Love This Yarn 4-weight colors. And I did a pretty good job getting them pretty close. So I got this color. This is this is sea blue. And then I got this color is Rosy Cheeks. And this light is not doing this yarn any kind of justice. And I got Clover, which that's looking brown on the camera, but it's not brown. It's like a light olive green. I don't know why it's looking brown. It's weird. It's probably just the lighting in here, I'm sure. And then I got a 4th color. This color is called Toasted Almond. So there's my 4 main colors. I think that's all I got was 4 main colors, right? Yes. So 4 main colors, but then I wanted to throw in like a beachy sand color. Although I will say, the side of Florida that we used to live on, the sand was very, very white. But she lives in Tallahassee. So the sand on the beaches on that side of the coast is more like this color yarn, which is why I chose it. And this color is goodness gracious, where is it at? Where is it at? Linen. This color is linen. So I got linen. So these are the colors. Now, originally we was going to do her blanket with the same pattern, but my husband said, we were on speakerphone with her, and he goes, you know, your mom designed a blanket. And Peanut's like, you did? Can I see a picture of the blanket you designed? And I showed it to her. She's like, oh, I want my blanket to be a pattern that you wrote, that you did, Mom, that you designed. I'm like, okay, well, you want a happy heart Afghan? She's like, yeah. Well, then the more I thought about it, I'm like, I want her blanket to be a little different. You know what I mean? Because it's my daughter. Does that sound horrible? I wanted something. So I'm going to do kind of the same happy heart Afghan kind of basic pattern, but I think I'm going to change up, instead of doing the hanging bean stitches, I think I might do some either baubles or bead stitch instead. I'm leaning towards bead stitch because, you know, pearls, the ocean, the coast, you know what I mean? I thought maybe that would be different. And then I thought, instead of doing half double crochets for my rows, what if I did the herringbone, a double herringbone stitch? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some play yarn, as Mama Swift would say, and I'm going to play and do a swatch and see how I like it. We'll see. I just want to do something just a little different. And I mean, if I kept the half double crochet rows and changed it to a bead stitch, it would make the blanket different enough to satisfy me. But I got the designer itch. So this morning, I told Mama Swift this in a Zoom. I woke up physically dreaming and seeing stitches, like as if I was doing stitches or looking at a stitch book, and dreaming about designing another blanket. And it wasn't designing a blanket for my daughter. I was dreaming about designing a blanket for Luck of the Draw 14. So, yes, I do plan on designing another blanket for Luck of the Draw 14. I am going to tell you this, though. I know that people don't own stitches. I get that. But my worst fear that makes me sweat is that I come up with a blanket that looks too much like somebody else's. That's why I've been trying to stay away from looking up patterns and tutorials right now because of that. I'm scared that I'm going to end up doing that. And yes, someone says if you change someone's pattern by so much, then it becomes your pattern and you're not, you know, blah, 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 blah. That's besides the point. I don't want it to look too much like somebody else's. So we'll see. So yes, I do plan on starting to play with swatches here maybe not next week, because I'm going through, as you guys know, I'm going through surgery and I'm going to be on some really good pain medicine. I don't know, that might be the time to play with swatches. Who knows what I'll come up with. Called the Mad Niecy blanket. I don't know. Anyway, mine stuff is going to be very basic, you guys, okay? I am not a designer. I'm just doing this because I love to do charity blankets, and, you guys seem to like the Happy Heart Afghan, and I'm like, well, talked to Mama Swift about it. I'm like, what do you think about me maybe designing another one? She's like, yeah, go for it. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully I can. Gosh, I don't want to make any promises because what if I'm not able to come up with anything? But I am going to try to design a blanket for Luck of the Draw 14 while working on some of these. But anyway, so I'm very excited about all this. I'm very excited. I'm going to get to share it with you guys. And to my coffee members, I hope you enjoy getting to watch this first. All right. You guys have a great night. I've enjoyed my time with you. Always remember, dare to be you, dare to be different. Love from Big Sky, Montana. Hugs, hugs. Bye, everybody.